to this video, we are going to be talking about Resident Evil 2 Remake. This is my review on the Resident Evil 2 Remake. In the background we're going to have some video footages of the gameplay from the actual game that I've put together nicely for you guys to see what the game is like running through the background. And also, yes, I'm wearing my Resident Evil 2 Leon RPD top and a long sleeve grey t-shirt underneath to make it look more the part. Unfortunately, I can't get the Resident Evil 2 Remake stuff because I needed a Velcro strip and a radio, CB radio transmitter mic up here, cable in with a radio in the back. Unfortunately, I can't get one of these, so we're stuck with just the Draw RPD rookie top. No, anyway, yes, we're here to talk about my review of Resident Evil 2 Remake. Now, I've played the game over and over, and I can say that it has replayable abilities, I think it's called, or it has that replay value where you play a game and you just want to replay it again just to find something different out, or you know, keep playing it to get a bit better at the game, or you know, find some different things, different ways of defeating enemies and bosses and all that stuff. And obviously, yes, the two scenarios as well, and the different difficulty settings. We'll get to that in a minute. There is an A and B scenario, or they just call it the first playthrough and second playthrough, which in my mind is the A and B scenarios apparently to the original game. Now, it's not like the original game, where in fact there's that in the original Resident Evil 2 of 1998 was released, you had 2 discs for some reason. And unless you had the GameCube version, it was 1 disc. You had both scenarios, Leon A, Leon B, or Claire A and Claire B. Sort of a what-if scenarios. Now, according to canon, it starts with Claire A to Leon B. But there's a what-if category for a Leon A to Claire B, to see what would happen if the events were different. Now, to be honest, they were completely different. And in the original game, you got to visit a boss called Mr. X, only in one scenario, and that's scenario B. Now, the difference in the first playthrough and second playthrough of Resident Evil 2 Remake is, well, not exactly that different, ladies and gentlemen, as you would find out playing through the game yourself. The only differences that I have noticed between the first playthrough and the second playthrough is that in the second playthrough you basically start in a different area, and obviously you get an extra final boss that you don't get in the first scenario. The majority of the gameplay, as well as the gameplay story, both scenarios don't really differ that much from the first playthrough and the second playthrough. The second playthrough feels a little bit more faster as you enter in from a different way, and some of the areas are already unlocked throughout the RPD. Certain key items are in different places. Certain key items were removed and already in place, like the shutters where you see Elliot. It's already open in the second playthrough, so you don't need the fuse from that room. But you do have to go to the actual little save point on that area to pick up the fuse to open up the main hall of the police station where you see Marvin. And of course, Marvin is already a zombie at this point in this game when you play through the second playthrough. The first playthrough, you get to see Marvin alive. Barely. Mr. X, well, duration of playing for the first playthrough, you don't see Mr. X until you visit him or put the fire out and you see him pushing up the helicopter, which you get to see in the second playthrough as well. But it was a slight twist. In the second playthrough, Mr. X will appear soon as you pick up the battery from the STARS office. So there's your little difference there, already to notice from the beginning as well. Mr. X is in it a bit early. Now, into the original game, the first scenarios of both players, Claire and Leon, you do not get Mr. X at all. So they've made it a bit more difficult by having Mr. X in both playthroughs. bearing in mind it is really terrifying. And as we can say, the graphics, well, as you can see by the video footages in the background right now of different little clips that we have, the graphics is amazing. Can't seem to see any fault in the graphics. Again, as you always will find in every single video game out these days, there are glitches, and we've seen a few of them. As far as boss fights goes, some of them are quite hard. You can actually make them easier if you know how, which that's why I find this game, or Remake, a little bit more challenging, because you've got to not only defeat the said boss, but you've got to work out easier ways. There are easier strategies out there, folks. You just have to try and find them and learn them yourself. I do, however, find that the final bosses are, as ever, are difficult. Unless you're playing Leon. Apart from, yes, the Super Tyrant is very much difficult as the original game was. Apart from, he's a little bit more slower. But there are little strategies on trying to defeat him. But I find every time I attack that Super Tyrant, it always ends up being a very stressful moment. But Claire's boss is a bit difficult as well, but there are easier ways around it. It just makes Claire's B scenario, or second playthrough, final boss a bit more difficult to defeat, because you're near enough out of every ammo. Leon, however, gives a rocket launcher, which you save 2 rockets at the end of that Super Tyrant boss battle to defeat the final Birkin. So in all, yeah, it's kind of easier to that bit. As I said before about the replay value, yes, it's a really good thing that you can replay games. Some games you don't want to play a video game and you play on and it just ends and you're like, boring. This has replay value, which means you can go through the game and it helps you learn how you play through the game. It gives you a little bit of a hand, which I find some video games never had before. When we veteran fans since 1996, when the first Resident Evil game came out, we never had somebody holding a hand. At least with this remake, it actually gives you a little hints and tips. By you playing on easy mode, which again, back in the veteran days, in the nostalgia of Resident Evil, we never had little helpful things like that back in the day. Which I find in Resident Evil 2 Remake a very good thing. If you want to learn how to play the game and, you know, do some different little things, new little strategies to help you progress through the game on the harder difficulty levels, you have something called assist mode, which is, well, as it says, basically hold your hand through the game and giving you some tips on how to get through things and how to progress through the game faster and saving ammo. The more you play this game, the more you will get to grips with it. Like in the original days of playing Resident Evil 2, I have mastered the Resident Evil 2 game to a point where I know exactly what parts I need to go to and where certain items are. In Resident Evil 2 Remake, I am at this stage of learning where these things are and feeling like it's beginning to grow on me like the original games did, or the original Resident Evil 2 did to me when I was learning through the games and finding where all the items are and every single code. But at least this game has that little, well, I would say, helpful thing called assist mode. Assist mode will, you know, make the game a little bit more easier for you, and it will help you with the aiming a little bit and to learn how to save ammo. So the more you play through assist mode to gain your skills, the more that the other levels will get a bit more easier once you've learned how to save ammunition and find key areas where you need to go and work out areas that you don't really need to go in the game. Always use the assist mode to learn the game very well and then start playing on the standard difficulty and hardcore difficulty. Now, the difference between standard and hardcore difficulty goes like this. Standard difficulty is basically the normal game with a few items missing that are not in assist mode and a few little less more ammos. But standard difficulty has one feature that is kept from the assist mode, which is unlimited saves. Now in hardcore difficulty, as we all know, when Resident Evil 7 came out, they had a Madhouse mode, which is the hardest difficulty or professional mode in some cases, where you had to go and collect ink ribbons. That is back in this, where you have to collect ink ribbons. Back in the day Resident Evil 2 first came out, you had to always collect ink ribbons all the time. It was not until Resident Evil 3 Nemesis where easy mode had unlimited ink ribbons. So, you know, it's a bit different. Nowadays you can just go find a typewriter and you'll save. But then when you get to the hardcore difficulty, yeah, enemies are significantly harder, their HP is a bit more higher than usual, ammo is a bit more less consistent, and ink ribbons replace the certain amount of ammo that you were going to get, and some healing items. You will have to collect a few ink ribbons to help you through the game to basically save on the harder bits that you need to save. You can do this in no saves if you want, but it's not that easy. The more you learn on the assist mode where to easily save and conserve ammo and time, you could adapt that into these difficult modes. Now, I have noticed one thing in standard difficulty that may be in hardcore difficulty as well. They bring back of what they started in Resident Evil 4, that a lot of games developers put in their games that a lot of gamers are now starting to figure out and learn, but don't really know it's there, and it's never been told it's there. That's right, adaptive difficulty. There is a thing in Resident Evil 4 called adaptive difficulty, which you will see how that works when you play through the game. You get this in Resident Evil 2 Remake as well, the adaptive difficulty. It's not much as noticeable as it is in Resident Evil 4, where they add 2 extra enemies if the game is more, if you're progressing through the game really well. Or in this they just make the enemies a little bit more harder, or they grab you in certain sense, you know, and catch you off guard quicker than they would have done if you play crappily. Duration of playing the game, the most hardest boss I've ever found was with Leon, which was the Super Tyrant. I died quite a lot on that battle, but I managed to get through it. With Claire, yeah, the Birkin fight on the train was quite hard, but I did it by using it in every single ammo, but didn't die like I did with Leon on the Super Tyrant. So in my mind, the Super Tyrant was the hardest boss battle duration of playing this whole game that I died quite a lot on. The alligator pissed me off because I died when I shouldn't have died. You know, it was just like, why, it was such an easy, easy sequence to beat, but I just generally lazy enough just walked into the alligator's mouth and got myself killed. In theory, yeah, it was just, yeah, just couldn't be bothered, and just, yeah, you get killed when you start lacking at, you know, playing the game just being, oh, I can't be bothered with this, you know, the game will cheap you on it and kill you. However, I find this was the second playthrough that I found was a bit more easier. The final boss with Claire on the second playthrough is a bit more difficult because you do consistently lose a lot of ammunition on the boss before. Whereas Leon, he already has 2 rocket launchers, as I mentioned, to defeat the final boss, so that's pretty easy. And the final boss is quite easy if you don't waste your ammo straight away. You've just got to wait until Birkin reveals the big eye, and you just pummel everything into that you've got. It's roughly around it. The story, however, well, the story plays out the same. You play 2 characters, Leon and Claire, who have their respectful Ada's side story and Sherry's side story, which again has been more extended than the original games were, and I found Ada's segment a lot more harder than she originally had in the original game, which was a pain because at least when you've done the first scenario you just dodge past some dogs. Okay, scenario B, you get the zombies, but I found that more easier. You just run around, collect shotgun shells and the key for Leon. Now in Remake she has to do her own little side quest and run away from a few zombies doing a little spy gadget thing, and as well as trying to get away from Mr. X. It's a little bit more longer and it was a bit more harder for me, which a lot of people saying, well, Res Dan, you're just attacking a few zombies and running away from Mr. X. Yeah, compared to Sherry's extended bit, I found Sherry's segment in the game a lot more easier than Ada's bit. Again, you didn't have any enemies to attack with Sherry because she's only a little girl. She's just running away from Mr. Arsewipe, Chief Irons, which I found was really, really easy. Well, if you're very good with stealth and hiding, then yeah, it's very easy. Again, me, Mr. No Patience, not very good at that thing. Got caught the first time, but eventually afterwards I've worked out to, you know, gain my patience and just wait. Found out that Sherry bit was a lot easier compared to the Ada segment, which I prefer that than anything, because in the original game you had to dodge past either the dogs or the zombies. So, you know. And a lot of people, when they've seen my videos, they moan at me saying, why can't I do the simplest puzzles like putting the bricks together? Because my mind doesn't work that way. My mind is just run in, shoot a load of zombies and trying to defeat the game. And the odd little puzzle here and there. Simple puzzles a bit doesn't compute in my mind for some reason. As far as DLCs go, they're pretty good. I liked the free DLC that we got, and obviously when you complete the game you get the full survivor, and if you beat that you get 2 free, which I haven't yet, but looking at videos of the full survivor, it looks as hard as the original games, a little bit more extended. Instead of having to, in the original games, come from the entrance to the sewer straight through to the police station and then finishing on the roof. In this version they change it that you have to meet the helicopter pilot that is evacuating you from the town main gates of the RPD. Now you get to the main hall of the RPD, find out that it's all boarded because Marvin's boarded everything up with Leon, so you can't get out the main door. So you have to work your way up to the 2nd floor, make your way to the roof, and then make your way down to the back gate, to the main front gate to get out, which makes it a bit more harder. Now having Mr. X running around chasing you once you get to the police station, yeah, that is very difficult. Other than that, yes, the 3 DLCs that were out, the Ghost Survivors, which I thought were kind of cool. Sort of a what if Kendo did survive after shooting his daughter and laying her to rest, putting her out of misery, and escaping to this guy who radio contacted him, a friend of his, I believe to be Barry Burton. A what if the mayor's daughter did escape from Chief Irons and found Ben and escaped with him. A what if the unknown survivor of Hunk's team escaping and all that. You know, and then the final bit, the what if the sheriff actually survived and had a whole haul of zombies and different enemies piling into one room and how to survive a certain amount of time. I thought it was really good. You know, I was hoping for a Resident Evil Outbreak DLC so that you can do the Outbreak mission, you know, the Desperate Times mission in Resident Evil Outbreak 2. I was hoping they were going to put that as a DLC to Resident Evil 2 Remake so we could see what Kevin would look like in Remake and how the PlayStation was before it was destroyed and how Marvin got his wound and how Elliot found the book. Would have been a lot more interesting, but unfortunately we didn't get that. But who knows, they may make a separate game of it, they may not, we don't know. Capcom does what they want, and half the time it's not sometimes what we want. The Resident Evil 2 Remake was an awesome game, it had awesome graphics, it was a really awesome remake, I really enjoyed it. The only issues I had, well, they weren't big issues, but you know, I had a few little niggling issues that I didn't, you know, that I was expecting that could have been, but they wasn't. Obviously the absence of fixed camera angle, as I said, not biggie. I do enjoy it in the third person, but the missing of the fixed camera angles, you know, when the first remake was in fixed camera angle, it could have been, and the fact is that they could have done it in fixed camera angles as well as third person and first person, having a different, you know, optional camera setting where you either complete the game and do whatever, or you can go in the options and change it to classic survival horror, which is fixed camera angle, with the new survival horror, which is third person over the shoulder cam, and the POV, which is first person survival horror. They could have had it like that, and you know, all fans would have been happy. But again, Capcom, they never listen fully. They just make a game and think this will do, when they could and can add these little added extras to make all fans happy. But again, that was the only little minor issue. As I say, it wasn't humongous, it wasn't big to determine me not to get the game, but it was something that I want to nitpick and that I had as issue. The other issue, the whole, well, you beat both the same bosses as Claire and Leon, you meet Mr. X, both characters in the same place. Okay, that's sort of like an issue, but not a big issue, but it's like, okay, why would Claire meet Birkin there have the same fight after seeing Sherry? Why would Leon have the same fight with Birkin there? Why would they both meet Mr. X at the same place, same time, even in both second playthroughs and first playthroughs? Them sort of little tiny bits that, you know, don't make it a bad game, just sort of like throwing the hints out there, like why is it that and all that. But again, just those little tiny issues that I have, but don't make me want to hate the game. I love the game to pieces. So, and little tiny. But other than that, it was an awesome game. It was awesome AF. It had the fear factor. It had everything that survival horror was. You know, it had the scares. It had everything. It had the gore. Just everything. Unless you're in Japan, where they tone down on the gore. It's just a shame. And all in all, I will give the huge rating 9 out of 10. Because it's a really good game. Apart from my only little small issues, that's why it's not a full 10 out of 10, but the little small nagging issues that could have been resolved to make it a full 10 out of 10. But other than that, yeah, it's a good game. So thanks for watching this video. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comment section below what you think of Resident Evil 2 Remake, and what, you know, what could have been different, what could have been better, what issues that you found, and what rating would you give it? Let me know in the comment section below, and if you do a video on it, comment the link in the comment section below and I'll go and check that out and watch your video. Other than that, thank you guys for watching this video. If you did enjoy, leave a big thumbs up on the video, it really helps the channel grow. Share this on your social media to all your friends that might like Resident Evil and survival horror gaming, or just gaming in general. And hopefully we'll see you Gaming Bro fans in the next video. And if you are going, and if you want to try and do a fan meetup, I do go to a local Comic Con event in Wrexham in North Wales. So if you want to meet up, make sure you go and check out Wales Comic Con. See if you can get yourself to the event by buying tickets. As far as I'm aware, all tickets are finito, done. You can't buy any, but you can buy on the day, but it has to be after 11 o'clock to buy at the door. And you can get to meet me. I will be at Wales Comic Con in a, well, not this uniform because I've already done this, but you'll see if you're on my social medias, which all the social media links in the description below. Hopefully you enjoyed this video and all the rest of the above, and we'll catch all you the Game Bro fans in the next one. Goodbye.